Shame of Doc on time last.
And you know, if we know anything about Chris McClane, he has the greatest moral compass that we've seen ever in a cartoon character.
Compass.
I was about to say that too.
You know how sand acts? Trent hits the ground with so much force that he indents the sand.
I think that Trent is beginning to like the pain.
Welcome, campers, to the Dock of Shame podcast. My name is Matt. Joined with me, as always, are...
My name is Chris, and I am sweaty.
My name is Walsh, and I just ate a big meal, and I'm so excited to talk about this episode.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
My name is Gabe, and I'm going to immediately date this episode because the Pokemon Crown Tundra news just came out today.
That was some exciting news.
The fourth wall. It's all over the place.
We destroyed it.
I see the audience. Yes, I see you eating the Cheetos while listening to this podcast.
Don't
Yeah,
wipe it on your
Dave.
shirt.
Yeah, Dave. I see,
Dave
I
eating
see,
Cheetos.
I see you, Dave. Oh my God, imagine. That dude's so fucking freaked out right now.
Anyways, welcome. We are now in the second half of Total Drama Island. It feels good, although these next two episodes are a little bit definitely like middle of the season, going forward. And this one, the Brunch of Disgustingness, probably everyone's favorite episode of the entire show that everyone just loves to watch all the time.
It's
Yes.
delicious, I'll tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
So, content warning, we're going to be talking about vomit for most of this episode. If you are unable to handle that, just skip this one. We will.
This is totally fine skipping. Like we
we will
understand.
barely reference it in future episodes. No one gets eliminated this episode, but if you're watching along with the show, then you probably already know that. But
Just
no one
skip to the Total Drama-rama.
skip to the Total Drama-rama.
Yeah.
Unless that one has barf too.
I'll try my best.
Okay.
I wonder how the Tooth Fairy's doing since the last time we.
No.
been here.
I don't want to talk about the Tooth Fairy anymore. I had to listen while recording when Chris got to walk out of the room, and then I had to listen again while when I edited the episode, and I don't want to talk about the Tooth Fairy anymore.
Well,
and if you don't want to hear us talk about vomit for an extended period of time, don't listen to this episode. That's all I wanted to say.
Since the mid-season episode has come out, I've re-listened to that episode twice.
I totally understand that.
So, do you have something?
Yes. I bet this will be even more fun if we watch the episode in reverse.
I disagree wholeheartedly.
I get where Gabe's getting at though. That there's gonna be some interesting. Actually, no. Now I'm thinking about it more. It sounds gross. Never mind.
Describe the plot of this episode, but played in reverse, like the Titanic in reverse, in which a big ship saves a whole bunch of people, and then two people fall out of love.
So they all walk into the dining hall, bright and early, and Trent is upset that there's no breakfast. And then Chris and Chef start to giggle. Before... Sorry, go ahead.
Their giggling is so fucking funny though.
It
really
great.
has me for like most of the episode of just where they're like little schoolgirls like.
And Chris mentions that there are 10 campers left, which means all of them have made the jury. Something that they pull straight from Survivor, which is the group of people who decides who the winner is, except that's not how this season ends.
Did they actually say jury in the episode?
They said the word jury.
Yes, they did.
That is absurd.
Yeah.
It's not how this show works.
That is not how this show works. That is the writers forgot that they mentioned a jury, or they were just like, "Oh, this is the jury part of Survivor. Let's put it in." It is literally just a lie.
Yeah, especially since I don't want to spoil it, but it basically like it's the fact that they reached this point means 1000% nothing in terms of jury stuff. So
right.
I love how they're just like within canon. They're like, oh, the writers messed up. Yeah, that was just Chris fucking with them.
That's the thing, is that they can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've set themselves up properly to be.
They
like,
have
oh,
set that standard, and I will credit them to that.
Yes.
So, Chris now mentions that they're going to switch cabins, even though I don't know why they had to, because they were the team cabins were already divided into guys and girls anyway. But we needed to have some drama for this episode. So all the guys are going to the Bass cabin, all the girls are going to the Gopher cabin, because we have a Battle of the Sexes merge challenge. Yay, gender. So I don't think it's necessarily a bad sense of things. There are definitely some gender stereotypes in this episode.
Very, very forced gender stereotypes.
Yes. But for the most part,
it's not that bad.
They fit this cast and these characters.
Yeah,
so.
It's not terrible, no.
No. But it is like, this is a guys versus girls challenge. Whatever it's going to be, we don't know yet. Chris also mentions that there is no elimination this week. They're only playing for rewards. So the first time we have a specific reward challenge with no elimination.
True to the show that this is kind of based off of, which is Survivor, which usually has a reward before an immunity, or sometimes goes right to the immunity challenge. But no, nice to see that shows change of fit.
That show is an hour long.
Right. That's why they're able to fit multiple challenges in.
Yep. As they're walking to the cabins, Heather is immediately buddying up to Bridget, and Gwen tries to warn her, like, hey, stay away from her, she's trouble. Which I'm sure Bridget knows, but it's still... We'll see later that these two sides of the Gopher girls are going to try to vie for Bridget's attention.
Yeah, it is kind of strange, because it is like... They all start acting like they don't even know each other, which is...
Right.
I guess is kind of the case, but...
I don't know. Has Bridget really interacted with many of these people before?
She did with Gwen in the last episode.
Yeah, but when that happened, we were all like, "Has these two been like in the same room before?"
Yeah, no, I think this was like, I mean, put the last episode aside. I feel like. This is Bridget finally showing up on Total Drama Island. Welcome to this new cast member, Bridget. Like, it's great.
It is true, because I remembered Bridget being a much more central character than she has been so far.
Yeah.
And she's going to, like, not just this episode, she's going to get a lot of attention in the next few episodes.
Definitely.
So, as Bridget is leaving the cabin, Jeff bumps into her and is like, oh, I'm really going to, like, miss you. And they're really awkward about it. But kind of like the fine teenage awkward, and not the usual Jeff being bad with women awkward.
Yes. I appreciated that.
Yeah. And then they almost kiss, but Chris pulls Bridget away, and then Trent comes in and knocks Jeff over with his guitar case, which like, unless Trent was looking away, which I think he was, that angle just doesn't make sense to hit someone with a guitar case with.
I mean, the guitar case is as big as his body, so maybe his view was just blocked.
Bridget arrives at the girls' cabin, and immediately everyone is arguing, mainly about Lashana's clothing being laid out places, and we get the line, "Your jeans should come with a trash compactor."
Well, it started with Lashana saying that, like, Heather ate her, like, chocolate pops or whatever the hell it was.
That's right, yeah.
And honestly, I wish that Lashana decked her for that. You shouldn't eat other people's food.
Yeah, and then Heather calls Lashana out for leaving like her bra out.
Yeah.
And then Lashana's like, well, maybe you'd have one of those if you had anything in your front or your back.
Yeah.
And then I think I wrote it down. It was you've got so much junk in your trunk that like you
Matt just
your jeans should come with the trash
okay.
compactor.
Sorry. All right.
Matt just said that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Then they see Bridget in the doorway, and they're like, "Oh, Bridget, hello. We're all like a big family." And then they try to like push aside what just happened. Heather mainly. Lindsay tells her it'll be fun as long as you do everything that Heather says, and then there's a glare there. We get some more instances of Heather taking advantage of Lindsay because she's like, "Oh, you can sleep next to me," where Lindsay does right now. Heather is really gunning to try to align with Bridget. And then I forget
what
who
is
says,
the motivation here? I'm just curious.
I believe it's to get a 3-2 advantage over the other girls.
Okay, just curious.
Even though like there's still 5 other people in the game.
there's guys. There's
Yeah.
guys in the game.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But just to try to align with her any way that you can.
Yeah. Okay.
They mentioned something about the guys, wondering if the guys are getting along this well, and then the guys are getting along very well at doing burp contests because haha masculinity.
Well, they had soda and a turntable.
Yeah, where did he get all this shit? Like,
I don't know.
It's just there.
They are having fun. They have Owen burps and then Jeff burps, and like I wrote causes global warming because he strips leaves off of trees, fur off of squirrels, all that. And the other guys are so impressed that they deem him their leader and shout, "Speech, speech, speech."
You thought farting cows was the problem.
It's Jeff.
It's burping. It's burping millennials.
It's a guy named Jeff spelled with a G.
Guys, it's gonna cause fart again.
No, we're done with that.
Are we, Matt?
This is an episode. That episode is going to be a lasting impact on the rest of the series.
I hope
It's
not.
gonna cause burp again.
Stop.
I can just feel the pain in your voice.
We cut back to the girls' cabin, and it's very clearly Lashana and Gwen on one side with Lindsay and Heather on the other side, trying to vie for Bridget to side with them. And Bridget is trying her best. She is just doing all she can to bring them together. She says, "We need to build bridges, not walls." And then none of them are having it. And Heather says, "You got to choose a side, and if you choose them, I'm never talking to you." And then she chooses that side, like the empty threat that it is.
Real quick, just I don't know, I forget when this happens in their like when they're in the cabin, but while Heather is courting Bridget, there's multiple times where she's just like, "Oh, Bridget, sleep here," and Lindsay's like, "No, that's my bed," and she just keeps on giving Lindsay a look and stuff, and like multiple times, like, "Oh, Bridget, you can have anything in my makeup case," and Lindsay's like, "Oh, cool," and then like Heather like closes the makeup case.
Yeah,
and I just wanted to point that out because this is like, I feel like the start of potential turning point in the relationship between Heather and Lindsay. There wasn't much beyond this for this episode, but it's a start. It's a start to build towards that.
it is a start. Yes.
The other thing too that I wanted to point out is while like we can say that it's like both sides kind of vying for, like to have Bridget on their side, it really is mostly just Heather. It's mostly Heather, and then Lindsay is just kind of there as like Heather's lackey, and then Lashana just doesn't take Heather's shit. And I wrote down in my notes that Gwen is just straight chilling. I don't think Gwen barely says anything.
Yeah.
She just like stands there.
Like no one but Heather is trying to start conflict here.
Mm-hmm.
So Bridget decides to choose Lashana and Gwen, and Heather makes the comment of like, "Oh, you made a big mistake." Heather, you do not have the numbers in this situation anymore.
What is she? She has like a what is it? A doctorate in revenge.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Masters in revenge.
Yeah, something along those lines.
But who is she really taking revenge on?
Yeah, like I like what
Beth?
Bridget just stepped over duct tape that you placed down, and now she's like Satan on this earth. She is the imposter, like it just like I don't even know. It's very strange.
They arrive.
We're gonna play imposter with up to 10 people, and everybody's just gonna name themselves after the last 10 contestants.
They go back to the mess hall, and they ask where breakfast is again, and there's more giggling, and they say, let's just get to it. Welcome to the challenge, the Brunch of Disgustingness, where they will get a 9-course meal, and each member has to finish their whole dish. Now,
damn, 9 courses.
9 courses. So, this is this used to be a Survivor staple challenge, where they would eat... It would be called the Gross Food Challenge, and not that that's necessarily the greatest name, because a lot of times it would be local foods that people there ate, but it's just not palatable to American mouths, like pig brain and stuff.
Yeah.
So this is like a staple Survivor challenge. This is the one that we are about to see is not that.
No, I remember well, it feels very Fear Factor.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So the prize that they get to receive is they get a weekend on a yacht with a spa. They get antibiotic shots to help with whatever they may have caught while on the island. And they get to just be away from the game for the weekend. So obviously everyone really wants that.
Yeah, we like just real quick. We call it Fear Factor. This is like, I guess where these competitions begin to kind of repeat themselves, because we had like Phobia Factor, and that was I know that was a lot more of just like different challenges to overcome fears, but that also had elements of like eat this disgusting thing in order to overcome the challenge.
I've only watched Fear Factor maybe a few times, but I remember the kind of structure of it being like because there'd be 3 rounds. The first round would usually be like this big thing, like jump from one truck to another over like a highway, even though they would have like a cable and they'd be fine if they fell. And then the second round was always something gross. Usually food related, whether it be like eat this sheep's eye or whatever. That was usually the case. And then the third round was something like either over the top or like wild.
Yeah.
But yeah, very, very Fear Factor-esque. I even think that the first round food they've done very similarly on Fear Factor. It might be a reference to
sure.
that.
Yeah. So Bridget mentions in confessional that she'll try anything once except for meat. I wonder if that will come into play during this challenge.
Right away, in fact.
And then we get a line from Owen. He says he'll eat anything, even his own gitch if he has to, and holds up his dirty underwear. I looked it up. Gitch is slang for underwear in Saskatchewan, specifically, Canada.
Okay. Interesting.
Just parts of Canada. So this is actually like... It's not a like bad word that was changed. It was Americans aren't going to know what this is. Change.
Oh, so this was a censorship thing, because I watched the Canada version this time.
Yeah, I watched the Canada version too. It was changed to drawers in the U.S. version.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Just want to point that out. And we get to our first dish. Can't
ditch.
Rhyming ditch. We get to our first ditch, which is meatballs. Technically correct, but as Chef eloquently puts, it is beef testicles.
And then it cuts to a cow that is crying, and I'm like, that is traumatizing. That is just straight up sad.
Okay.
So, obviously this was cut for the American version. They just say meatballs again. It is still implied that it's beef testicles, but it will go over young kids' heads. because
it went over my head.
The only mentions to it otherwise are Jeff saying castrated bulls later, and then Gwen still says cojones later on in the US version.
Okay, like this is going into like real life stuff. Apparently, beef testicle is actually really good. It's like really tender.
It absolutely is. It is a good delicacy meat.
But yeah, on Fear Factor, it was buffalo testicles.
Yeah, Rocky Mountain oysters are the...
Yeah, but you know what Fear Factor did right there? Not cutting to a cow that's sad that lost its balls.
Dude, that was mad
It's obviously
funny.
anthropomorphized, but like...
No, yeah.
It is. It's just very sad. It's very depressing.
It is sad, but when I rewatched this, I saw the uncensored version, and I was like, oh my god. Just because I knew that they had censored dialogue, but I didn't think they would censor a whole scene cut out.
Yeah, that was rough. Rough.
God. Okay. So the guys are all upset about it. Owen even eats a whole plate before he knows what they are, and then we get our first stream of puke of the episode. And Chris is looking on at them like, I understand.
Who does he understand?
Understands the guys why they're having trouble eating the
okay.
testicles.
I thought you said I understand because of the bowl. I'm like, oh.
Oh, no.
No.
Lindsay talks about how she really needs the trip because her corns are growing corns.
What are corns, by the way?
They're
I don't know.
growths or something on your feet.
Isn't that on your nails?
I don't know. I don't know shit.
We don't know much about the
Does this look like a beauty podcast to you? This is a total drama podcast.
Heather's taunting the guys' team for the fact that they're having trouble eating them, and then Bridget doesn't want to eat the testicles because they are meat right away.
I would also like to point. Oh, yeah, go on.
Oh, and Heather's like, "Are you sabotaging the team just to spite me?"
Damn, fucking like,
give up.
Wow, the world revolves around me.
Yeah. Jeff comes over and tries to help her out, being like, they castrate a lot of bulls to like help them out. It's like totally cool, and she's able to get them down after that. Trent is refusing to eat them. Owen is shedding tears.
Yeah, no, I wrote down in my notes, DJ tears on testicles.
Yes.
like one tear falls down his face and then lands right on the testicles.
Oh, it's so weird.
I also I don't want to sound like annoying gay Twitter, but I will. Owen eats those testicles, no problem. Bisexual legend.
Say it again.
Owen eats those testicles, no problem. What a bisexual legend.
Oh.
we haven't said that in a really long time.
Yeah. Because he's powerful. Because we haven't gotten as much Owen, but we will now. As the game moves on.
So the girls end up getting the first point because they were able to eat the testicles. And now we will move on and don't have to say testicles on the podcast anymore unless we choose to.
Testicles.
That was your choice.
I mean, I feel like I'm gonna say the word testicles for every single episode now that you've even mentioned that.
Okay. That's what you choose to do.
Last time on testicles.
Stop.
Last time of Dock of Testicles.
Stop. Jesus.
Testicles on Dock of Shame.
Let's move on. Duncan calls Jeff out immediately and is like, and for helping out the other team. And Jeff's like, hey, it's my business who I talk to. And Chris kind of like yells at them, is like, hey, we got to move on. And they're like, oh, okay, cool. And they make up immediately. Bridget says in confessional that she likes to hold a grudge for a good 6 minutes.
That's literally me, though.
No, that's me too.
This was on a very rare occasion that I agreed with Duncan on this one. I understand. You know, if Bridget has her feelings about a vegetarian, which I'm all for, then I don't know, just let her not eat it. Let her sit in those feelings, and then that way you can win the challenge really easily. I don't know.
Yeah, but
that was
Jeff,
that was me.
But
Jeff has a crush.
He cares about her. Yeah.
Second dish comes out, and it is pizza with grasshopper, jellyfish, and live anchovies.
They called it jellyfish sauce. I was just
jellyfish sauce.
Yes, I wrote my notes: pizza with live grasshoppers in tangy jellyfish sauce and live anchovies.
But it's not sauce. It's just jellyfish.
Okay, so you know how when you make pizza sauce, sometimes there's still sometimes little chunks of tomato in it.
That dude, you're not gonna convince me that is not an
but
entire
it's full
jellyfish.
It's just full jellyfish.
No, I like to imagine that not only that they made this. I like to imagine they made the sauce with jellyfish.
Yeah.
And they had extra jellyfish, and they're like, "Fuck it, just put it on top."
Okay, yeah, that's valid.
And then Lindsay mentions, "Ew, I hate anchovies." Which of all the things?
It's good.
Lashana declines to eat it. Heather yells at her again and then freaks out about it as well. Ask if she can get a little parmesan on this. Not Jean, parmesan.
Parmesan.
Why didn't she go all the way and say parmesan?
I don't know. So I honestly don't know if that's a Canadian dialect thing or if it's Heather's voice actress not knowing how to pronounce it. I don't know. I don't know what the deal was.
My headcanon is that Heather doesn't know how to pronounce it.
Heather doesn't know how to pronounce it.
I like that. I like the idea of that.
Can I get some parmesan on this?
We get a quick cut over to the guys where they have one slice done, and Owen is reaching for a second, and then just like, no taking seconds until everyone's had a slice.
I thought it was going to be more like, no, man, save your appetite. We got like 7 more courses. But it's like, no, save some for the rest of us.
Yeah. Lindsay is still freaking out about it, and Bridget helps her out with meditation, which is cool of her, and it goes down without Lindsay even tasting it. She's totally good. Cut back over to Trent, and Trent has to run outside because he has a weak stomach, and this is my least favorite scene in the entire show. He goes outside, runs off camera to hurl, and then Bunny runs on screen, covered in barf.
So just kind of like total drama. Can't even just imply that there's vomiting happening. They always have to show it in some capacity.
Yes.
Oh, no, they do. There's even, like, another point where... Sorry, I think actually... Go on. I'll point out when it happens.
This scene killed me, where it's like, okay, they're not going to show him puking this time, but then to have the fucking bunny run on, covered in barf.
Again, our bard has very low constitution.
Yes. We get a confessional. Apparently... his parents used to have to hold him down and force feed him broccoli. So he runs back in and tells DJ to hold him while Jeff stuffs him in his mouth. He's freaking out.
That's not how his that's not the wording he uses in the confessional though. He starts off by saying like, "Yeah, my parents used to force feed me,
right?
Because they said broccoli was good for me." And I was like, "Damn, like that's fucked up."
Okay, so
that's what they do in like prisons.
So this is something I remember. We are transitioning from the Trent gets injured era to the Trent tells sad backstory era, and this is just the first.
Oh my god. I didn't know that was the case.
Yeah, I forgot about that element of it. Thank God.
Just wait.
But like,
so he asked DJ to hold him, and then Jeff to force feed him. Were you going to say something good?
No, it's just at least something. Just continue.
Okay. So as Trent is being held down, Jeff shoves the pizza into his face, and then Trent gets wide-eyed, looks up at DJ, and goes, "Mama?"
That's some Freudian shit right there.
and then he sucks his thumb.
Then he sucks his thumb as DJ is holding him like a baby.
DJ just goes with it too.
Yes,
that was the moment I clicked on my mouse to pause the YouTube video, and I was just like, what? That was that moment.
Absurdity. we get back to the Trent has another confessional where he's like, "Oh, I was just playing up for the cameras. I didn't actually mind it." And then he thinks about broccoli again, and then he starts barfing again, a lot. And we cut out to the outside of the confessional. And at first it just starts like, you hear it a lot, and then it starts trickling out the upper windows. And then it's just everywhere.
Like, they just could have cut away. They could have cut away what's like 3 more seconds of like food shots that they could have implemented in the episode. No, they had to show the fucking vomit streaming down and
so
covering
much.
the bottom. And covering the fucking bottom too.
Yep.
My God!
That was awful.
It was great.
So the guys end up gaining the second point, thanks to that.
Quality television.
What?
Quality television.
Quality. We get a confessional from Chef who says he's excited about the next dish and starts scratching himself. I feel like this was supposed to happen before the 4th dish.
But he forgot. Like he says that he made it from scratch as he scratched himself.
Right.
All right, that's kind of funny.
Chef is creepy as fuck, man.
Chef is creepy. I love Chef.
Are you just saying that because you're looking at the picture that I sent of like Chef in the fucking like hockey mask and with the knife?
Well, that I am staring at that too, but just generally, I just with that and like when he was like, "Oh, you didn't read those letters," whatever it was like that. Like, there's been many. Chef has a creepy streak.
Yeah. So the third dish is spaghetti. Except it's not spaghetti, it's worms covered in snail slime and hairballs.
Friday Delight.
Jeff freaks out, runs out, and then DJ's like, "I'll handle this." Runs out and tackles him.
Oh my God, that shit had me fucking dying.
It was
Jeff is a good fucking 20 feet from the fucking like cabin, and DJ jumps from the cabin door and flies across the fucking sky like a torpedo.
DJ is the best. I've had so much more appreciation for DJ on this rewatch.
I always appreciated DJ.
So the guys decide, okay, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna blindfold ourselves and cover our noses. And Jeff goes, let me pinch my nose. I like spaghetti. Spaghetti is good. To try to trick themselves into eating the spaghetti.
Spaghetti.
Lindsay is eating it with a fork, still meditating, and then like chokes on it, and then looks around and is like, "Where am I?"
This episode had a lot of good jokes, honestly.
Wait, what did you say, Matt? I'm sorry.
I said this episode had a lot of good jokes, honestly.
It did. The guys are able to finish, and they score the third point. And so it's 2-1 for the guys' team. And then we get let's kick some boy butt from Gwen, and we got to act like a team, I think, from Bridget or Heather. One of the two.
Mm-hmm.
We get to our fourth dish, which is soup. But it's soup. French bunion soup, not French onion. I see what they did there. I just got that joke.
Same, when you said that.
French bunion soup with hangnail crackers.
Where are you? I'm at the soup store.
I'm at soup.
I'm at soup. What do you mean you're at soup? I'm at soup.
The guys are unable to get it down. Bridget just finds a fucking funnel. And then they funnel it down.
It's such the cartoon element of the show.
Like,
just like, where do they get these objects from? Who knows?
Right.
They got it.
It's
though.
Like the guy's
Cody
blindfolded.
pulling a picnic out of his pants.
What?
I only think of Cody pulling a picnic out of his pants.
He had a picnic in his pants.
Can we just appreciate though that so that happens and then Chris is just like, the girls win again, but then they cuts to that wide shot and all their soup is still in their bowls.
Right? Yeah, it is.
None of the girls drank their soup. I had that written down too.
Like no one else did it.
Exactly. So the girls get 0.4, so now it's 2-2, and we get a montage, and we get some epic training montage music about eating. I did not pay attention to the lyrics as I was trying to pay attention to what was going on.
I did.
Okay.
Now, I would like to
regale
perform
us.
our poetry. You've got to eat. Eat. Eat to win. Don't let them gross you out. Don't let them push you down. Stand up tall and say you can. You've got to eat. Eat. Eat to win. You've got to eat. Eat. Eat to win.
Wow.
Thank you. So while that is going on, Chef provides a ball of pre-chewed gum that's given to Gwen. Skunk juice, which is what I've decided to call it.
I've checked the wiki, and that is what it is referred to as.
In a cocktail shaker, shakes it up, gives it to Lindsay.
The wiki, I think the wiki said like skunk juice shaken, not stirred.
There you go. I think it was grout. It was some kind of either like grouting or super glue that was put onto a flip-flop given to DJ to eat. That's not even food. Not that any of this is really food, but all this other stuff is edible.
Yeah, no, it looked like fucking like a silicone like mold or something you'd use for like tiling.
Yes. DJ like takes a bite out of it and then like falls backwards without even any of it coming out.
Well, that's because it kind of like rubber bands like back into him out of his hand. It's not food.
It's not food. And then there's a mixture of like weird garbage soup. I couldn't even tell what was in there.
It was banana peels, fish heads, and soda cans.
Cool. So after all of that, the teams are still tied, which means we are down to the final course, which is absolutely yes.
There's something I noticed too.
It's a very big inconsistency. The points are still 2-2.
Yes. I was going to point that out when the thing came up. So either they all forfeited all of those, which wouldn't surprise me, or they just forgot to make it 4-4.
I think, but the thing is that I think it was that they forgot because they're implying with the next scene that like they're forfeited, and that was like, all right, well, I guess we're gonna have to try something else. Like they made a big deal about that last one, so
that's true. Okay, so the last dish is absolutely the least disgusting out of all of these. Dolphin wieners, like hot dogs made out of dolphin, not the other thing.
Imagine.
Oh no.
Bridget, do they even have wieners?
Yes.
probably.
Yes,
Okay.
dolphins do, except for the female ones.
Well, yeah. I guess
They all have
they are mammals. To be fair, let's move on. Bridget is terrified because she is a surfer. She swims with dolphins, and even though she ate meat before, it was a different story. And she's freaking out and refuses to eat. And DJ, being the nature lover as well, also refuses to eat it. So there's a standoff between the two of them. We get a thing from Chef saying that he slaves over a hot stove cooking dolphin with no appreciation. And we get a stalemate. So instead of, just removing those two and have the other four on the team try to eat it, which would have been fine, what we decide to do instead is each team gets to nominate one person to see who can drink the most shots of blended cockroach. Specifically, 8 different kinds of blended cockroaches.
Did they actually imply a nomination?
I don't think so. I don't know. I don't know if it was implied or not. But Owen and Lashana are doing it. So my guess is the guys were like, "Okay, Owen, you're going to do this," and the girls were like, "Lashana, you are going to do this."
Yeah, it was just very strange when they just cut. It was just like, okay,
Owen
I guess
and Lashana,
it's Lashana and Owen now.
Right.
I don't know.
So they're pretty even. There's a cut, just so they don't show them drinking all of the shot glasses, and they're both kind of like, ugh, about it. And then Owen, like, I wrote Owen almost goes into a trance because his eyes are just so wide, unblinking, and he finishes off the last 3, throws his arms into the air, and falls over. Guys win.
Guys win!
Whoa.
Heather yells at Lashana, calling her useless. And then Lashana barfs. Something's coming up. And then she does it again. And then cut down to the pool, and there's a cockroach that is still intact that's floating in the barf.
It moves, I think.
Yeah, and moved. DJ and Trent both barf, and we get a close-up with like the comic book action shot behind them. Chef and Chris are shown, and each of them like hold it back but look like they're about to barf. And then Duncan and Jeff at the same time barf at the camera.
Great. Funny. Wonderful.
Classic comic.
And
Pop quiz!
That is used as like the screen change, the wipe to the next scene,
that also
which is the
implies
yacht.
that they barfed on the cameraman.
Yes.
Yes.
It cuts to the yacht. The guys get to go on it. Lashana and Gwen in the cabin. Lockout, Heather and Lindsay. Bridget is inside and is looking out the window mournfully, while Jeff is looking out the window of the yacht back at her, or just in general. And that's the episode.
Pop quiz. How many times did characters throw up?
Let's see. It was...
I'm going to say 9.
It was Owen.
Because I kept track.
Okay, it was Owen, Trent twice.
And I'm not gonna say that like let's say someone in the same scene goes like blah blah.
Right.
That I'm counting that as 1, but in Trent's case of him like having one scene and then a second scene way later, that is 2.
Okay, so there's those 3. There's Lashana barfing. There's DJ and Trent barfing. There's Duncan and Jeff barfing. I don't know if anyone else does. That's 8. I have 8.
Gabe, you have a guess?
No.
that is
Gabe
totally
just
fair.
wants to move on, which I don't blame him at all.
That is totally fair. Chris, you did a good job thinking of a number off the top of your head. Matt, you are right. It is 8. I kept track. The other note that I had a couple other notes too, or fun facts, I guess I want to share with you guys that I think for now we're done with vomit. But as far as dolphin goes, because I had remembered hearing a rumor that like hunting and eating dolphin was illegal.
Oh, it absolutely is.
Okay, that I wasn't sure about. I tried to do some research on that, and the most that I could find is that the reason that it would be is actually because it is actually very unsafe to eat because of the high amount of mercury in it.
Bro,
that's
where
not... I would have thought it was the endangerment thing.
they're literally thermometers.
Could be that too, but it's not like they like naturally, create mercury. It is that we have like polluted water to the point where smaller creatures that absorb just like nutrients from the water absorb like smaller mercury bits, and then as that goes up the food chain and like each larger animal eats the smaller animal, the mercury that they take in basically stays in their body, to the point where like when testing dolphin that like most have like a high amount of mercury in them, higher than like the FDA would approve for food to have.
Well then.
And yeah, so that dolphin wiener might be a little bit more dangerous than they would have thought.
Yeah. Okay. That's good to know.
Only other thing is that I noticed, I don't think Gwen eats anything this entire episode.
I mean, it's implied that she ate the gum thing.
It is implied, but I think she's like one of the only characters that is shown like not eating anything.
Yeah, I don't think they show her. Obviously, the girls scored the points, and the rules were everyone on your team has to eat it.
Yes.
So she did eat, but it never showed her.
No. I just thought that was funny.
Yeah. So that I'm glad that we're done with that episode, so that we don't have to get back to it ever.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do ratings. Who would like to start?
I would love to start.
All right, let's hear it.
1 out of 10. So, my reasoning is this. There were a few good jokes in the episode, and I think that's really the only thing that I thought was redeeming about this episode. I thought that almost any plot line, any major plot line that could have happened in a later episode when things would actually happen. And I just didn't I really didn't care for the I felt like I wasted 22 minutes of my time after it was all said and done. They're lucky I'm getting them 1 point. So,
all right, who would like to go next?
I'll go.
Okay.
I'll give it a 2 for testicles.
I'll go next. Honestly, I don't think this episode is quite that bad in terms of game and plot related development. I'm gonna give it a 5.
You know what? Fuck it. I'm giving it a 10.
Why?
Alliteration's sake.
Okay. So I'll give it a 5. The vomit was unenjoyable. But I did like the beginnings of Bridget being a character, and the general attitude towards now we're in the merge almost. It's almost there because we're still in teams. But yeah, I didn't totally hate it. So I'll give it a 5.
I'm going to give this episode an 8.
Nice.
I actually really enjoyed this episode. Despite all of the vomit, I think that was the only actual thing bringing it down. I enjoyed a lot of the visual gags and a lot of the jokes that were made during the episode. And it, other than, the vomit wasn't... I mean, it was used a little bit for gross-out humor, which I wasn't too big on, but I enjoyed the drama that they've built up to. It felt like... even though you could say that it is a bit sexist to be well, all the guys get along, of course, perfectly fine, and the girls are of course going to be be at each other, but they even Bridget the show is self-aware of that, and they're well, I hope we don't fall into that, but it's all of the characters really being their characters at some of their best with each other. And you could really see a lot of the characters, interactions really coming together. And overall, I just really enjoyed it. The only thing really bringing it down is how much vomit there was. That was really it for me. But I'm gonna actually stick with my 8.
You made a lot of good points. I'm actually going to change my score to a 7 because I too enjoyed a lot of the character moments and the jokes, and it was a funny episode overall.
My thing is, how is any of what happened in this episode going to be relevant into the future of the series? Because I don't see anything. I've watched this show 3 or 4 times. I felt like I could skip this episode and move on to the next and have it not be relevant whatsoever, and I'm totally okay with that. I think that's what really, really annoys me about it, is just that for a series that relies so much on each episode really meaning something, this just, I did not get the meaning out of it. I understand you're saying the characters were showcased well, Bridget kind of started showing her character side, but we also got that in the next episode. It's not, to me, it was the start of something, but it didn't really have this foundation of... this was the turning point of things. This is when everything goes I don't really pull it up to much importance, which is why I rated the way it did.
No, yeah, that's cool.
No, yeah, I think you're completely valid in that. I think it definitely just comes down to self-enjoyment for me,
Yeah.
And while it may not have been the most important plot points for characters, it was still very much for me just seeing a lot of them shine as their characters in moments.
Sure, absolutely.
And yeah.
Cool. All right, Walsh.
Okay. All right. Let's go now to the total drama.
As he's pulling it up, if you missed the mid-season break, I would suggest checking that out. We talk about just things in general, do some fun things. Don't listen to the last 15 minutes or so, because Walsh talks about the fart episode of Dramarama.
That's the only good part of last episode.
No.
Absolutely.
It's the best part.
I'm just...
I have the plot up, but I also wanted to grab... I also wanted to see if I can get, like, I don't know, the IMDb description or something.
Try to find the best possible description.
Try to find any other descriptions, because I'm totally just going off of last time. Maybe I should just check the wiki.
Yeah.
Although, how accurate is the wiki? Now I'm looking at the Total Drama Rama wiki. Why am I doing this? List the Total Drama Rama episodes.
Yeah, I've come around, basically, is what I'm saying from the last episode. I've come completely 100% around from walking out of the room to just being like, you know what, fuck it. This was every one of our reactions was worth that pain.
No, yeah, that's
okay.
fair.
I will give you guys.
I'm playing it up for the camera, as Trent put it.
I will give you guys two options. Joke wasn't. I will give you guys two options. I either have the Wikipedia description, which is usually like, you know, like when you see an episode and it gives like a 1 or 2 sentence description. That's probably that. Or I have the Total Drama Rama wiki, which is like 5 pages of the plot, all written out.
No,
read all 5 pages.
I mean, not 5
please.
pages. It was 5 paragraphs. Sorry.
Oh, 5 paragraphs. I don't mind.
I feel like the appeal of the Dramarama comes from the short description.
I think you are completely right.
Like, having the less context, the better.
Fair. All right. That's fair.
Okay. You know what? I think after last week's episode, let's take it easy. I'm gonna take us all back to the beginning. Season 1, episode 1.
This is
Total
episode.
Drama 1.
This is the one episode of the show that I've watched.
Okay. This episode is called Vent Hala. It's written by Terry McGurran. Thank you, Terry. The description here is: Owen has just won a new toy from a crane machine, but the toy is confiscated by Chef. Duncan leads the kids through the vents to retrieve the toy, but it is actually an escape plan for him. Meanwhile, Noah stays behind to distract Chef from noticing the kids' absences.
You know, maybe it's what last week's kind of made me jaded, but like that wasn't that bad.
No. No, this is that seems like an actually sensible plot, and maybe they just didn't want to rock the boat too much in the first one. You just steal a plot from a Simpsons episode, and it's fine.
Bury the weird lead, you know.
Yeah.
So Matt, you said this is the one episode you've seen.
This is the one episode I watched.
Okay. How was the episode?
It was like a year and a half ago or whatever. I mean,
yeah, this came out.
It didn't make me want to watch more.
2018. That's completely fair.
Yeah.
Wasn't good.
Vent Hala.
Chef.
Yep.
Chef not being voiced by Clay Bennett is bad.
Oh
Yeah.
shit! Really? I didn't know that part.
Has a different voice actor.
Oh, that's even worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how now you know how it all started.
Now we know how it started.
The origin story is great.
It is one of those shows that like and just one of those just episodic shows that assumes that you know who all the characters are right away.
Yeah.
Like there's no like development or starting or introduction. It's just here's the characters, figure them out, which is fine.
No,
for
you
a
know,
show
you
like
know how
that,
sometimes you know how like sometimes in the intro it'll show like this is that character, this is
Yeah.
this character. It is just like nope, here you go, here's all of them.
Here you go. They're babies. Make a baby.
They're babies.
Do you think that anyone that was not a Total Drama fan is actually watching the show?
I don't know. I
Because
can't.
I feel like that's the only thing they would latch onto.
Because I can't like I can't speak for children watching it, but
Yeah, I would say there's definitely like little kids watching it. I don't think there's any like person over 7 who hasn't seen Total Drama Rama. Oh my god, that hasn't seen Total Drama Island and is like, yeah, I'll watch Total Drama Rama.
right.
Yeah.
This has been
Although
the doc. This has been the doc.
That's a lie. I probably would. I'd probably watch that as a kid, not knowing anything.
This has been the Doc of Shame podcast. Keep your food down.
Please.
If you can. We'll see y'all next time. The Doc of Shame podcast is brought to you by Team Chaos Productions. Find us on Twitter @Doc of Shame and find more of our work at Team Chaos Pod.